Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Kombumerri people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Monday, November 6. In Squiz Kids Today, pandas in play in China visit, Galapagos Islands strawberry squid, big win for Aussie cricketers, and playing Quidditch in Africa. That's what's making news, kids style.
The Lowdown.
There was a big banquet on Saturday night and a busy day at a trade fair yesterday for Aussie PM Anthony Albanese, as he became the first Australian Prime Minister in 7 years to visit China. Yet, strangely enough, the success of this trip could well be measured by whether a couple of pandas stay at Adelaide Zoo. Wang Wang and Fu Ni are two pandas that have been living at Adelaide Zoo for over a decade. They're one of the top attractions at the zoo, bringing in thousands of visitors every year. But they're only on loan from China, which is where the world's pandas come from. You see, China lends out pandas to zoos around the world as a form of what's called diplomacy. Diplomacy is the way that countries manage relationships with one another. From Helsinki in Finland to Adelaide in Australia, there are currently 63 pandas on loan from China to 19 different countries. It's called panda diplomacy, a gesture of friendship, if you like, in the form of one of the world's most adorable animals. But here's the thing, if the Chinese government isn't happy with a country where it has its pandas on loan, it will bring them home. As is happening with pandas that are living in the United States right now, but will be packing their panda bags and heading back to China next year. The loan of Wang Wang and Fu Ni to Adelaide Zoo has already been extended by 5 years by China and is due to expire next year. Whether or not they stay could depend how well Albo's visit goes this week. Have you done your family sweep? Do you know which horse you've been assigned for tomorrow's big race? I'm talking, of course, about the Melbourne Cup, also often called the race that stops the nation. 24 horses and their jockeys will race just over 3 kilometres for a share in $8 million in prize money tomorrow. A horse from Ireland called Vauban is the current favourite, meaning that experts reckon it has the best chance of winning. But out of the 150 Melbourne Cups that have been run, the favourite has only won 34 times, or 23%. So, you know, it's really any horse's race. May the odds be ever in your favour.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Uganda, which is a country in Africa, where a new film has been made about the Quidditch revolution sweeping schoolyards. Quidditch, as all good Harry Potter fans will know, is the fictional game played on flying broomsticks by junior witches and wizards at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Now, in Uganda, in the real world, lots of kids can't easily get to school, where families don't always have the same amount of money that families in Australia tend to have. And kids sometimes need to go out and get a job from a very early age. So teachers have found that holding Quidditch competitions at schools is a great way of getting kids and their parents excited about attending school and getting an education. Which, though you might be sitting in a classroom right now, or on your way to school, or just finished a day at school and you might want to disagree, but getting an education is really, really important. I've stuck a link to a trailer of the new Quidditch documentary in today's episode notes. And before you ask, no, in Uganda, in the Quidditch competition, they don't fly, and there isn't a golden snitch, but they do have a creative version of bludgers and beaters. Ouch! There goes the classroom companion Clarion, letting teachers know that Christy has made some excellent curriculum-aligned classroom worksheets tied to this story in the podcast. And today, teachers, you can get your class to practice their summarising and predicting, as well as organising their ideas. They're free literacy worksheets made by Squiz Kids' very own school teacher, made available on our website, squizkids.com.au. You're welcome.
Animal Kingdom.
And so to the Galapagos Islands we go, a group of islands in the ocean off South America where scientists have discovered a mystery series of reefs deep underwater, where a whole new bunch of never-before-seen animals have been discovered, including a strawberry squid. No, not a squid made out of strawberries, but rather a pink-coloured squid. The researchers used a remote underwater vehicle to dive 400 metres down below the surface to discover a couple of cold water coral reefs, one of which, get this, is the size of 8 football fields. They've also discovered down there a couple of underwater volcanoes and a whole lot of deep sea varieties of sharks, squid, crustaceans and fish. How cool would that job be? I've stuck a link to a photo of the strawberry squid in today's episode notes. It's one freaky-deaky looking thing.
Sport time.
Another weekend, another bunch of big sporting results. Starting with the surprising news that defending champs England have been all but bowled out of the Men's Cricket World Cup in India after suffering a comprehensive defeat at the hands of the Aussies at the weekend, who now look set to head to the semis. A comprehensive defeat means a convincing loss, which is what the Aussie Men's Rugby League team also suffered at the hands of the Kiwis at the weekend, as Captain James Tedesco and his merry band of kangaroos lost to New Zealand in the Pacific Championships game in Hamilton by a crushing 30 points to 0. Ouch! NRL favourites Jermaine Asako and Ronaldo Mulitalo starred for the Kiwis. And in the WBBL, Brisbane Heat are sitting at the top of the table after beating the Hobart Hurricanes at the weekend, as the Sydney Thunder thrashed the Melbourne Stars. Because, my friends, too much sport is never enough.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What's the name of the islands where scientists have discovered a strawberry squid? Yeah, that's right, they're the Galapagos Islands. Question number 2. On which continent is the country of Uganda? Well done if you said Africa. Question number 3. Name the 2 pandas who are living currently at Adelaide Zoo. Yeah, well done if you had your listening ears on and you said Wang Wang and Funi.
Shout outs.
It's November 6. Today is National Nachos Day in the United States. Can you believe that nachos get their own national day over there? Wacky. It's also a special day for these Squiz kids celebrating a birthday today and tomorrow. Sebastian and Dustin from Woongarra, Tessa from Mount Annan, Lucas from Barrack Point, Ethan from Cobbitty, Lucia from Gulgong, Alice from East Ryde, Tice and Alicia from New South Wales, Piper from Mount Gravatt, Zion from Wattle Grove, Joe from Junee, Srinashi from Point Cook, Pepe from Chester Hill, Harry from Kapalaba, Jaden from Wahroonga, Charlotte from South Turramurra, Emma from Mandurah, Ava from Cardiff, and Lola, who's listening all the way over there in Lille in France. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Wiley from Maroubra, Henry from Buninyong, and Amaka from Sefton. And today's classroom shout-outs go to Class 4D with Mrs. B at Mark Oliphant College in South Australia, Grade 5 and 6 with Mrs. Dickinson at St Mary's Primary School in Rutherglen, Class 4S with Miss Smallhorn at Greystanes Public School, Class 5-6M with Mrs. Spruce at Cessnock Public School, Class KL with Mr. Lai at Russell Lee Public School, the Year 3 Tiny Turtles with Miss Ruth at Silkwood School in Nathan, Year 6 with Mrs. Johnson at St John the Baptist School in Freshwater, and Class 3 Key with Miss Natras at Macarthur Anglican School in Sydney. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow with a special Squiz the World episode on Mexico. And if you love what we do, don't forget to chuck us a 5 big stars in your podcasting app. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.